trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay guys, good morning. Let's just talk about treasury markets first. Pretty tight range in the overnight. There was some balance around 16 again. This has been a really important level this week. It appears to still be making a major impact. I'm wondering now at this point, there must certainly be some options expiring at that price. Maybe it was always there and the original trade was an options trade. Maybe it's just built up over the week, but since that price still seems instrumental, I think we may see it today. But I think that there's going to be some trickery here. I mean, that's for something like that, there'd be an opportunity for them to really try and push it away from that 16. And we just always see games on Fridays, so I'm being super cautious here. Our initial move after the open was a small buy, and we do have import prices here in 7 minutes. Now in Bitcoin, I would encourage you to go and look at the video I uploaded. I meant to upload it last night, but it looks like it didn't quite make it there, so I don't know what the deal is with that, but go and check that out. And I explain why this particular move interests me. I do think, I mean, they've pushed it now. I mean, there's been 3 waves to this thing, and now the futures are at 8,500. So I think that it's starting to become safe to say that my sell call was correct. And it's looking painful. Whoever's selling this just doesn't give a you-know-what. He's just sells it, man. He's no mercy. So be careful buying this thing. And yeah, I guess that's really all there is. Oh, I guess the E-mini pretty flat in the overnight as well. They did pretty good yesterday, though. I mean, it's been a winning streak, and now we're above, or we're right at this long-term resistance level at like 27.20. So if we can get some buying to close out the week, it would be really, really positive for equities. So yeah, there's that. Anyways, we have import prices in like 6 minutes, so I think I'm going to not do anything. I'm still not quite done eating, so we're gonna wait for that. Well, let's get the links out, I guess. Okay, there we go. And we're just talking here in the chat about the spreads. I have a long-term chart here of CV. You can see that we've been down here. This is like long-term support levels in the knob spread. And when we got this news yesterday, that CPI data, we flattened afterwards, which in my opinion doesn't make sense. Lower inflation should mean steepening, no? So I think you take it long, and that's what Repco is doing, apparently. So I hope it works out for him. Let's post this video here to r/cryptocurrency. Copy. Post it. Okay, we'll see how that does. Okay, so here's the news. Should be paying attention, better attention here. Okay. Import prices month over month, 0.3 versus 0.5. Okay, some fighting here at 14. Okay, so I liked that uptick right there. If I could get filled at 14.5, I think I might take it. I suppose 15 would be okay as well, simply because one above the view up, but I'm not necessarily seeing this like trending, you know what I mean? So if I get filled here, I think I'm looking to get out at 16. And my new policy is unless we are trending, I want to put in a profit target. So that's 4 ticks or less. Okay, so there's our fill. Okay, well, what I see right now is we ticked up, they ticked it back down. We appear to be in balance at 15. I do see some pressure though. You notice they're on that uptick that they initially bid 1900, and now it's firming up. So I do think that we're going to get enough pressure to get up to my target. It's not going to be trending, so we are going to take a target because, like I said, my new strategy is if we're not trending, we need to take 2 to 4. Now the target here is a little tricky because we've definitely seen some action around the 16. I also think we could see 16 half, but I'm not as sure about that because there's a huge step in the profile there. So, and if we touch 16 half, then they might be thinking about taking the high of the day. So that's why I have my order here at 16. If I see that 15 really start to get heavy, I might move it up. So we're gonna find out here in a second if they uptick. The other thing is that when I look at these, we're gonna have to see if these pull this 900 and this 26 in ZF. I want to see if they pull if we tick up. Well, the knob is going the wrong direction at the moment for your spread trade. And good morning, GP Duran. New name. It's really sparse today. I think that we got more people on. Yeah, we got a couple more viewers on Twitch too, but it's Friday, you know. Okay, so that time they ticked up and it fought. So, and there's a little bit of iceberging here in ZF. So, I still think we have a good chance of getting filled at 16, but that kind of makes me a little bit less likely to try and move my order up. We're gonna iceberg at 15 half. They might break the iceberg and then have trouble at 16, so may even be wise for me to just take it off at 15 half. But I think I still see the pressure. Like, they're not hitting the 15. They're not hitting 10 half in ZF. They are hitting it in ZB though. I think the ZB went too far that time. Okay, ticked back down. That 14.5 is actually bigger now. It's 4,000. It was 3,000 last time we ticked down. I think this should tick back up fairly easily, though. I think that's the CF that's kind of the one that's really having trouble. Okay, so there was a pull there at 14.5. I don't like that. Okay, the level 2 is kind of being flaky here. They are taking a hit here in ZF, and then this is pulling when that happens. Good deal. Okay, so that time we upticked, and I'm not seeing like a strong bid, so I think I'm just gonna take it off. So +1, yay. Yay. So we're essentially in balance, so we may still come up out here, but that could be a long time. I don't want to be messing with that. And we also had a good sell here in ZV. That could be spread related. Well, I'm already getting low on water, so I think I'm going to go and fill my water back up. Okay, well, they decided to hit 14.5. So I think we made the right decision there for sure. So that normally would have been a trade that I think would have really screwed me over, yeah? So I again feel like I'm doing a lot better with the profit taking, yeah? Pretty happy about that. And now I'm noticing they're even having trouble. Okay, well, so they took 14, and they were willing to put up a big bid, and they pulled to 15. So maybe we will yet see them take up to 160. I'm a little wary about punching into 15 here, though, given that we have ticked down at 14.5 before, and the level 2 is being a little flaky right now. And And they seem to be reacting to, well, they all three of them ticked up that time. So let's just watch. I think that getting out there was the right decision, but let's just see if we really would have gotten, or at least if they get filled, how it fills there at 16. We are seeing net buying. Hmm. Hey everybody. Boom, boom, boom. Wow, already 39 videos. Oh, and Anthony has a really interesting comment here. I think I'm going to respond to this. Okay, it's been here at that 15.5 for quite some time. Oh, they're gonna take up. Okay, well, they ticked up, and there's still too much too much selling desire there at 15.5. I don't think they're done though. Is ZB. ZB is still too high. See, I think it's significant to point out here that since we reset, and we reset it when they all ticked up, right? ZF has come down 1, ZB has gone up 1, and ZN is still flat. So it's actually the opposite, this flattening. Yeah, they immediately downvoted it in the r/cryptocurrency subreddit. They don't want to hear something negative. Let's try r/BTC. That'll probably get downvoted too, just because there's always bots there to downvote you there in r/BTC. In our BTC, there will at least get comments. Pretty thick now on both sides. So now we're in this situation. If I had held it until this long, do we think about getting out at the 15.5? Maybe you could have gotten filled there. Yep, okay. So you could have gotten filled there. So I could have taken 2 out of it. Top post on the Donald this hour is CNN headline that says Trump rules the world, and their response is, "You fucking know it." These freaking guys. Now let's turn the camera back on. You can see my lazy butt over here, leaning back, slouching in my chair. Okay, so that was a significant downtick. Ooh, okay, and the sellers hit 14.5 really quickly there too. So there's some big orders in that probably, yeah. But several thousand lots at 15. Oh, it was basically two guys that sold 15, and then the 14.5 must have just been all small guys. So this seems fishy to me. You know what I mean? Like, all of the retail traders just got out there. Is that what just happened? And then there's somebody there to catch them all at 14.5? I don't know. So this just kind of is a really good illustration of how I often screw myself over. I could have punched into 15, thinking that, oh yes, they are actually going to go up to 16 now. Not getting the good price, and then having them stop me out for -1 at 14.5. Now here at 14.5, they've absorbed 7,600 contracts. I find that really, really interesting. And there was not big orders in it. You see down over here, can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Look, where's the big orders? There was the big orders at 15. Two guys sold 15, but this 14.5, there's none after that. So that was all small orders. Well, there they took it. Okay, and there was a big order in it that time, 1757. So basically one guy decided to initiate there. Well, we could see a move down here. I'm a little skeptical. I mean, what would be the impetus to move us lower? I guess we could test the 120. That was yesterday's point of control. Right. Mainstream media in 2008, John McCain is a racist. 2018, mainstream media, John McCain is an American hero. Yeah. I mean, I don't mean to get like political over John McCain or anything like that. But I just, as a trading note, you have to admit at some point that the media just says what fits their agenda, whatever it is. And it seems to me, so I've been watching here in Bitcoin, and I said, we're overbought here. There is not the transactions to support it. And every day, every freaking day since I made that call, I've had somebody send me a link saying, oh, here's all the great things that are happening in Bitcoin that's going to push it to new highs. All these good news stories completely in the face of reality, as I can see it, at least. I really like news, and I really like politics, but I think that if you're gonna be like me and you enjoy that, you have to keep in mind that a lot of it is presented in a way to make you think a certain way, and it's not necessarily good for you. Like if I was just a regular person like my wife, like I don't tell my wife, you really need to be more involved and informed on what's going on in politics. Because I don't think it's actually, you know, for your regular person, I don't think it's good. Anyways, that's my rant for today. I think this is what JG would call bad action. Yeah. I'm so glad that I've stayed out of this. The thing that's funny about this is that I mean, we were showing some signs of a trend maybe developing, and now it's basically it's come back, and so my ADX is now reading even less of a trend, and we're getting down to like 10, and 10 is like as low as it can get. Like I can't, on a tick chart at least, 10 is as low as it can get. So yeah, I think that this is action you gotta stay out of. Or if you're gonna make a trade, like I think I would be tempted here to try and go, oh look, they cleared 13.5. Like watch them pull here at 13.5 potentially, and some orders go through. And that's where I would be like, oh yeah, I like this now. I think that they might take it down to 20 or 12, and then immediately they flip it there. So I don't actually see signs of this exhausting itself. Like we saw 787 trade into 13 even. That to me, and it took 22.94 to push it up. That to me is like price acceptance, and they could push lower. I don't know. So there you could see at 14 they stacked onto it kind of randomly. Crypto name. Do you think the CoinDex consensus event will impact the market? Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I've been wondering that myself, and I don't really know. I've seen a lot of posts from people pointing out seasonality trends with it, like showing that there tends to be buying into consensus, I think is what they were saying, and then buying afterwards. And this was one of the pieces of news where I was saying it's just ever since I said, hey, we're overbought here and we're likely to go down, every freaking day I am sent or see stories that are like really, really positive on Bitcoin. And that was one of the ones that I saw was people yesterday were saying, we should be buying because we're going into consensus. I think that whatever is going on in Bitcoin right now, and I do believe a new seller has come into the market, and this seller doesn't care. I don't think he cares about consensus. I don't think he cares about anything. I think that he believes, I think that, if this is the Mt. Gox, he has to sell a certain amount of Bitcoin to fulfill his duties as the, what is he called? The custodian of those Bitcoins. I forget what the correct word is, but he doesn't care about any of that other stuff. He just wants to get rid of those Bitcoins at the best price that he can so that he can pay off their debts. That's what I think is going on. So yeah, I think consensus could impact price, but I don't think it's the most important or influential thing right now. Sorry. It's pretty sparse today too, not a whole lot of people watching. Normally we got like 8 in chat. Nope, not today. Why would he dump on an exchange? Can he not find an over-the-counter buyer? So this is a good question, Crypto Name. I think the answer may be, we can't know for sure, but I think that the answer may be that he actually did find an over-the-counter buyer. But, it all kind of evens out in the end, right? Like if you find an over-the-counter buyer, eventually they have to sell it onto the market and to make their profit, So that may be true. But when we saw this guy before, like the people were saying, this ever since the December top, that this guy was selling the whole way down, supposedly. I don't know if in the news stories they confirmed if he was using an exchange or not. But this much I can tell you. So number one, I can't prove that he's the one that's actively selling it right now for sure. I'm just presenting some evidence that may be in support of the idea that it's him. By the way, we're moving up, so maybe this idea that you could buy 13.5 and sell 15.5 was a good one. Anyways, but there is a seller out there, and he wants to sell it. So maybe it's not him, but somebody is selling this thing, and he is selling into weakness. He's selling into weakness, and it is, you know, if I can just bring this chart over here, you know, when I made my video, we were here, you know, and my level, the level that I've been like, okay, like maybe I can start taking my victory lap was around 8,500. If I can bring up the 6 hour chart here. You know, I said, hey, there's some support right here that they're having a hard time breaking through, and now look, they just right through it. You kind of got a mini head and shoulders through this whole thing too, right? Here's the first shoulder. This is where I got out, and then there was this big peak, and then this one. There was some buying in there, but it was pretty weak, and now accelerated selling going through the neck, and that would mean here, if this is the neck, then we've gone from 9,000 to 10,000. Then the target should be 8,000. Yeah. But you have a good question. I wish we could prove and say for sure, you know, who's doing what and everything like that. But something that I'm trying to do is I have that tape, and I'm been watching this thread on CCXT. They want to get the streaming API into CCXT. Oh, sorry, CCXT is a library for JavaScript to interact with cryptocurrency exchanges, so that you can just write, you know, I want to buy something, I want to sell something, and then you can make your application work on all exchanges. So if somebody is able to get streaming API work for all exchanges, I can move my application over to that, and then we would be able to get the orders for all exchanges and not just GDAX. And then we could see where we would be able to dissect how this is actually happening, because we know that on GDAX that big lots are coming through on these cells, you know. So we might be able to see something when we look at all of the exchanges and determine if, you know, what the deal is. Oh, we actually do have a couple of people watching. I guess my YouTube was just not updating. So we have more viewers today than I thought. It's picked up quite a bit in the past 15 minutes, actually, since I started blabbing about Bitcoins. Well, I said buy 13.5 and sell 15.5. Now there's this iceberg at 15. Tucker's saying that he's thinking about driving to the store, getting some paint, painting his wall, and watching that dry, and that might be more entertaining for him today than to watch this. This is super slow. Well, we're gonna see equities open. Oh, look at that. Now you're getting iceberging at 14.5. No thanks. No thanks. Okay, so some more questions. Icebergs are areas where prices are held so buyers/sellers can get their order filled or stop the current trend. Okay, so this is a really great question, Brick. And as is the answer to many questions, we don't know for sure, but there's a couple of possibilities. Okay, so one thing is I have seen it before where you'll come up to a price and they'll lure you, which means all of a sudden this 48.06 that's on the offer right now would change to like 500, and then because of that you would see a ton of people start buying it thinking that it's going to go through, only for there to be a huge 5K iceberg there. And then they're unable to punch through that big iceberg, and all of the people that just bought puked, and then we move down. Okay, so can you use an iceberg to stop a current trend? Absolutely, I've seen it happen. But I think that is probably what is more common is that people use these icebergs for hedges. So like if you're buying equities and buying treasuries or vice versa, or whatever it is, well, let me walk you out through a bigger example. Somebody wants you to sell equities for them. So what you're going to do is you're going to buy the stocks from them. So now you're long, and you're going to sell them. And as you sell those, they're going to be worth less and less and less and less. And so because you know that move is going to move markets down, you hedge it by buying the treasuries, right? So as your value of your equities goes down, the value of your treasuries goes up, and vice versa, right? So you will see them come in here and, on the bid buy 5,000 treasury contracts. And because like it's a hedged trade, when you hedge something, that means you can get a lot more of it, right? Like if you were just doing it outright and you're just making a directional call, if you're really big, maybe you're able to put on 1,000 lot, right? But if you're hedging and if you're big, if you're Goldman Sachs and you're hedging for some trade that you're taking on behalf of a hedge fund, now all of a sudden you can trade in tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of contracts and have your net exposure still only be a couple $1 million. So when I see big icebergs, probably the first thing that should go through your head is maybe this is just hedging, right? So the only reason why I say that is because I think that we and me in particular have a tendency to think, oh, there's an iceberg, somebody's trying to stop the market. But the truth is that most icebergs don't matter. And overall, I mean, the market switches between them, but my experience has been that most icebergs get punched through. They punch through it, and they're going to sell through this 14.5, and there might even be some at 14, and they might be able to hold an offer at 14.5 for a couple of seconds, and then maybe it turns around. But those icebergs get filled. It's almost like the market knows that until this guy gets what he wants, it's not going to go anywhere. So they fill them because they know they have to. That was probably too long of an answer for that, but I hope that answered your question. So since I really don't want to trade right now is a really great time to ask questions, because if it goes off right now, I'm just going to be like, oh well. I just don't want to be involved in this. I mean, like, I would maybe be interested in seeing a trade come off of equities, but it might be a limited one. It was good. Okay, cool. Thank you. I primarily make this channel just to record my trades and to have like a complete record. But then the secondary objective here is to build community and help people. So let me know how I'm doing and answering your questions, because that's very important. What do your labels next to the DOM mean, such as the X's? And yeah, so I kind of just make it up as I go. I'm trying to come up with like a coherent system, but I'm kind of always changing it. But these particular ones, I think I've taken them recently enough that I can remember. So like this XXX, I put that there because on Tuesday, if I can show you here in the chart, on Tuesday, we had a big sell that I missed, and then they started absorbing here between 15 and 16. And I mean, it was a ton. It was 10Ks several times over, huge icebergs. And it's been a long time since I've seen that much trade at one price, and so I put X's on there just so that it would really stand out, to remind me that, hey, stuff has happened here. Most of these other ones, so the I, this is one that I'm consistent with. So the I means that I have seen it trade back and forth here at this price multiple times. So like if I pull this over, you see this kind of zipper kind of pattern here where it's been stuck in a 2-tick range essentially. Well, what you can actually predict where these areas are going to form before they happen. And the way that you do that is you look at the DOM, and we'll see something where like they tick down and they only offer 500, and then it ticks back up and they only bid 500. So that at that point, that's an indication that we're like at balance. Buyers and sellers feel comfortable with where price is, and nobody is willing to initiate. And it's mostly robots trading in the middle. And so you'll see that price go bid and offer, dozens and dozens of times. I put an I there. And you'll notice that when we come back to those areas, if we move away and we come back, it continues to be balanced. And so the way that I use that I is, if I'm going long, I would prefer to be buying below that I, and vice versa for selling. I'd prefer to do it above that I. But I can also use that I as this is a price that I'm really confident that I can get out of. So if I was long at 14.5, for instance, and all of a sudden we got an impulsive move down 2 ticks, and now all of a sudden I'm looking at having to get out at 13.5, like it's 13.5 bid, 14 offer. Should I hit 13.5, or should I put an offer at 14 and hope that I can get filled there? Well, since I know that 14 was an interest area, there's actually a really good chance of getting filled there. And so in that instance, I might put an offer in there, hoping that it's going to get filled. Yeah. Is a target for I if you bought below I assume. Yeah. Yeah. And in this really, really rangy action, I think that it can be important because you don't want to get suckered into the wrong price, you know? So if you're below the interest area, you know that you have a pretty good chance. You have a little bit of an edge there because that's the price that buyers are having a hard time getting filled at. That's the edge of the profile. POC is just, there was a point of that was the price that was had the most volume traded on a previous day. I don't remember what day it was. I think it was going way back. It was like way back on like May 1st, May 2nd. That was the point of control, 13.5. I don't always put those on there, but I kind of do that. These L's, where there's an L, like this LB8 right here, that means I use L for liquidity. So basically like icebergs. So basically I'm seeing icebergs here. I saw an iceberg on the bid for 8K at this 18.5. And at the time I thought it was significant. P, there was a pivot there. N, I don't know what the N meant. Why would I put N? That's really weird. Oh, and then the T. The T is an interesting one too. So the T is that I saw a block order there, which is like somebody bought or sold 3,000 contracts all at once. And we, in the channel, we joke that this is my alter ego, Tyler. So we're basically saying Tyler bought here at 120. And that is what happened when we had that news yesterday. We went way up and then we came back down. And then when we started going up, that is where Tyler started buying at. And man, did he buy it up. It was pretty crazy. So yeah, that's what all of the ones that I have on there. But I'm not consistent with it. And I don't think that you have to be consistent with it. Because the thing is the market's always changing, and then I'm always noticing different things, and I'm always kind of seeing like different setups. And then, so you should put your notes in that match, the current action, essentially. Man, it's been like super slow. Even the E-mini now, let's pull the E-mini up. Even the E-mini is being slow. It's been pretty range bound here. It does look like the treasuries are reacting to it. This is definitely not the breakout gap on open that I was saying might happen. I mean, it could still happen, but they certainly didn't do it like right on the opening bell. They come up here to the edge and they break a new high though, I think. This 1,000 right here, if they bust that 1,000, I think that we could really see some buying. That would move treasuries down though, so, and I was kind of saying I want to see it return to that 16. Now that they're having a hard time getting back to the 16, I'm wondering if maybe they go the other way, I guess. Or I should be. That thought hadn't occurred to me until just now. Okay, so here they're up at the top. They're absorbing a little bit. Unclear if they're going to make a new high or not. And they push through it. It looks like the buyers are still willing to take it up more. I think there's an iceberg at 27.23 and a quarter. They don't look like they're quite done yet. So I think there's a pretty good chance that we break a new high here now. I think they're definitely going to at least touch the 24. Oh, come on. So already iceberging in front of it. Okay, so there they traded it. It's getting filled. There is some absorption on the bid as well, which is good. It means that some people buying at the high. Probably can't see that, can you? Oh, you can barely see it. Let me just get rid of me. There. How about that? It's better. We could even just get rid of this scene and just do it like that. So notice there was some selling on the open there, but we're actually higher. So now we got people to stop out. Yep. That's pretty good. I'm thinking maybe I would buy at 27, 24. I don't think I want to trade anything today. I just take my one tick. Okay, we did tick down in treasuries though. Wow, there's a 75 on the offer now? What the heck? And now I'm starting to wonder if in treasuries they are setting up a test of the lows, because the last tick was down and there is a 7,600 offer at 14. I mean, to see 7,000 on the DOM on the inside is unusual in and of itself. I mean, if we came up to that at a high, you know, we would be saying, well, I don't know if it's actually going to get through there. But to see it after downtick is in the middle of the profile is even more unusual. And I'm not exactly sure what it means. One theory is that somebody is trying to put pressure on the market and push it down. And since equities is moving up, they haven't beaten the overnight low or high. What was the overnight high? Did they beat the overnight high? It looks like they just matched it. So another step up, and then maybe we could get some more buying. If you had bought that 24, that would have been a good 8 tags. Bund is at its lows, huh? I'm seeing the yen has been moving up this morning, which is kind of interesting. What about oil? Oil's all over the place. Gold is up. Bund is at the low, although I've had trouble with the bund. Let's try it like 5 minutes bars on. There we go. I like that. Okay. So the bund is at its session lows. Yes. Well, it's so thick here. Now it's 8. Now it's 8. Can we really actually move here at this point? I mean, man. There hasn't been a whole lot of people willing to buy that 14 either. uh, this is hard to watch because it's so unusual and it just makes me want to do something about it, but I don't really know how it's going to turn out, and it's been such poor action. I really should refrain. Really should refrain. Hmm. It's still there. Not a whole lot of volume has come through since we saw that happen either, because there's the absorption at 13.5. It's like, if you're a retail trader, what are you gonna do? You run into the biggest inside offer that you've ever seen, and if you hit into here, you're hitting into a 7K plus iceberg. It's like, man. Well, they hit it again. Okay, so ZB ticked down. Oh, they just ticked down through that iceberg. And it ended up being 100, it ended up being 13. So I'd be careful about that one, because that could be a situation where somebody sold ZB to try and get filled in ZN. I wonder. We were at the 12, right? Notice that ZF has not moved. If we take back up here in ZB, well, this is something to watch. I mean, seeing 8K on the inside side offer was pretty crazy. Seeing a 13K iceberg at 13.5 is pretty crazy. Oh, so did you take some off? How do you see that they're iceberging at 143.10? And it's already equal to what had gone through before. Okay. What? Now we have to think about potentially taking a trade here. But the E-mini is going down. What is going on here? I don't know. There was a point of control at 12. I don't feel like the risk reward here at this particular price location is super great. The E-mini action is not necessarily super positive either. They did break a new high, but only just barely, and now they're moving back to the VWAP again. They put so much on the offer. I think you have to say that they're probably going to take it down again. It's not like people are buying that. Well, okay. As soon as I say that, they tick up. This is not... I don't know, guys. Let's see what people are saying on Twitter. Okay. They sold it again, 13. What was this all about? Choppy and A-Waddle saying the same thing.
Block sell.
Okay. So that block sell was still just to get it to 130. Well, man. Okay, well they've hit that 13 a couple of times now, and it is a balance area. If we wanted to go short, maybe we could go short at 13.5. Now the E-mini is starting to show some signs of a head and shoulders pattern. We get some accelerated selling here into the 22. Okay, so a couple of attempts to clear it that failed at 13. You're still fighting it. Hey everybody, I wanted to make... Sorry about that. Just wanted to see here how many views my my video was getting. Okay, so it seems like we were able to get the message out at least. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, okay. Hmm. Now you're getting level 2 games. Look at this. Can't clear 200? You can't clear 200 lots in ZF, huh? Okay, there's the E-mini just went and made a new high. And they're selling it in ZN. There you go. Okay. Fine. If you like 13 so much, you can just keep it there all session. We'll let you do that. You'll have your fun. I hope you're happy. Wow. Well, now the 13 have pulled. That is something else. Funny, because when it ticked it down there, I was thinking, well, maybe this is going to develop into a trend. Maybe I should take it. Well, then they hit the 13.5 too, but there's, of course, it's too thick. Those freaking dogs. Oh, come on. You gotta be kidding me, right? They're only showing $345 on the offer at 13.5. They're not clearing it. That's how hard they have to lure people to get filled. That's how I read that one. You see him moving the level 2 back and forth really crazy. Like he really wanted. Well, that thickened up pretty quick, didn't it? Well, I continue to be pleased with my non-trades. What were you saying? Why are you laughing, Dave? Oh man, I've only taken one trade, right? It was a +1. It was a long at 14.5. Oh yeah. It's like, I don't know. I've never seen the market like this before. It's really interesting to watch, isn't it? And they don't want to move out of this area. This must have something to do with options or you know, something to that effect. Dude, Bitcoin has been nuts. So is it still selling this morning? It's actually kind of been mostly flat through our session in Bitcoin. Yesterday though, and in yesterday afternoon sure was something else, wasn't it? Hope you're short. Okay, well, I guess that was a reasonable uptick. Yeah, it was pretty big. I just the Bitcoin thing continues to astound me because I said that, you know, they're not going to get much beyond 9,500. Now it's been like what, 3 weeks, maybe more than that. And of course I was saying that the target was 9,500 way before that. And you know, like I was telling my father the other day, I was like, you know, this thing seems to work really, really well, and we need to find ways to take better advantage of it. And you know, he sent me this a link the other day with a couple of news stories that were all really positive on Bitcoin, was almost like he was saying, well, I did my research, and my research kind of says that you're wrong. And, I told him, I was like, it's no mistake that when we're here at the overbought area, that you're seeing a lot of news stories trying to get you to buy, right? But then the other thing was that before the selling started on yesterday, like when we were in the Discord channel, there was a lot of people that were kind of bullish still. Yeah, research. I think one guy was saying, maybe we could get to 1200, and they were listing a couple of things. I think a lot of people have been watching the consensus conference that's coming up and looking for price to go there into that. And I said, nope, I think it's still overbought. And so I think that they're going to back up here and let the bulls have it for a little while, and then they're going to take it down. And this is exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. Although this time it was like they sold it, and then they didn't let the bulls have it. They immediately sold it again. Whew, really quite. I mean, you go back here. Here's the sell. Kind of was down all day, and then they sold it again. They never let the bulls have it until here, until the middle of the night. And then they took it another step lower and lower. It's like crazy, right? No mercy from the seller all of a sudden. So some people are starting to change their minds, I think. Yeah, my calculation is actually saying more like 3K. But the thing is that it seems to me now, I mean, this is the fourth valid signal that we've gotten from the indicator, which is mind-blowing. Like 4 good trades in a row, and like the amount that they go and everything, this is just, I didn't think that things like this in trading existed. But I digress. It's the fourth signal that we've gotten. It always seems to be a little early, Always seems to be a little early. What dropped? Oh, ZBE did. Yeah. But so it always seems to be a little early, and they always seem to go a little bit further than I say that they should be able to go. So, I don't know if the indicator... Now the thing is that because we're getting such strong volume here, that could be increased transaction value, and it could bring that lower level up a little bit. Okay, so good downtick. Not a lot of initiation yet at 12.5. E-mini continues to go. I am seeing steepening in ZB. How is our... Yep. Well, now, if we had been long 27, 24, we would have gotten 16 ticks out of it. So now, $250 or something in ES. So this is where it's like, man, I should trade ES, but if I had tried getting into that, I might have gotten in at the 26 and had it gone against me and gotten stopped out when it went back to the VWAP. So it seems like the problem that I have with trading the E-mini is that I'm not so great at the positioning, and you really need that in E-mini. Now we're getting a bubble here. In ZB, they absorbed 12.6. I don't wonder if this is a level break trade or not. I tend not to, I don't think that they're quite as reliable in ZB. Let's reset the DOM for it. I wish that I was just long the knob. How many ticks did you get out of that? How much did you make off of that? Can't say. It's like, I think it's like 8 ticks, right? I think that that's like a $5,000 move for him if he had 10 contracts on. Seller's gotta sleep too, right? Oh man. Oh, yeah, I forgot we had consumer sentiment. 8 and 10 consumers anticipated interest rate hikes during the year ahead. Okay. Tick down in initiation at 120 now. If it was just going one way like it did on Tuesday, I think that I would need to be short by now, but it still continues to be a little bit back and forth. ZB did take the level break and go lower, and now they're absorbing at 02. So that might be the exit. Way to move in ZB. So this is where we have to wonder how John Bottomley did today, because he likes to trade CB, and I think that you caught a really great trend there. It was a good trade if you were in ZB, and ZN not so much. $7K, wow. And you rotate it around. Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. Spreadco was saying when in the spread, it's hard to tell why it's really red. So he's saying if a trade goes against you in the spreads, it's hard to figure out why. Okay. So at this point, I think I could take one. If it comes back on me. Like 120 would be nice. 125 would be okay. $10K buy. So they are continuing to spread, I think, is what that is. That's insane. Right, because you're in the spread. You're trying to go short the 30-year? Well, I want to make a trade. Like, I really do. But, it's already 8:23. Well, like, we got 10 minutes. I think it would be better for me to just take +1 and be happy with it. But we need to remember today. And I think we need to look back at Tuesday again, because Treasuries, for some reason, want to move down, but the spread is going up. And I don't understand why we're moving down. But if we're going to move down and we're going to get steepening at the same time, then the trade in ZN is clearly very, very different. The order flow in ZN is just completely unlike anything I've seen before. And so we're going to have to adjust to that for sure. Descent. I totally spelled that wrong. Well, Bitcoin has made it back to 8805. I'm wondering... Okay. So there was quite a bit of buying in that move for whatever reason. If they do decide to hit it again, then they have too much fuel. You could see real panic. Oh look, they stepped it a step lower in ZN. I mean, I get 15 minutes, so I'm gonna watch it for the 15 minutes. But that I don't know. ZB did come back quite a bit, but it's still only a 5-tick pullback, so they could take it down even lower. And where's our targets? John had some really good targets yesterday. Where's his? Oh, here's his morning notes for today. Let's just read that. Higher. The next area of supply to deal with is 143.30. Oh, that's above us. Low is 143.04, followed by the single print at 142.31. Beyond that, the next leg could see prices testing the ADR low at 142.25 and 21. And there's target, and we can't see 21. So there could still be yet even more left in this in ZB. And if that's true, then we can continue to see selling in ZN.
Block buy.
Okay. Well, I wanted to take it short, but with that block buy there, definitely can't do that. Oh, hey, actually some more extended buying there that time. Hmm. So I understand the absorption down, but I don't understand the absorption on the offer. Hmm. I see. That's funny. So he says he was just messing around with it. I'm like, hey, I kind of like that trade. I can see some long-term support here. We should buy it here, and we could get a good knob trade. And he's just screwing around. Makes like $4,000. Oh man, I'm so jealous right now. That makes sense. David saying 80% of the current population are new entrants entering back in November/December timeframe, and they are not used to seeing this much volatility. It drops below Just a random number with no data behind it, 7.9K, it's going to be 1929 all over again. That E-mini wants to keep going. Repco says he has ES phobia. Yeah. If you have unlimited funds, you can just keep buying and selling and you still come out ahead. So true. Oh, so frustrating. Mm. It's hard to say what I would have done. Okay, well, Treasuries got a much bigger buy, and, you know, there was that block buy was the end of it, so I'm gonna have to say that the trade for today is over. Yeah, the breakdown was a really nice move. Isn't this is 3 winning days in a row, isn't it? I'll double check here before I say that. Oh, he changed the name of it. It's no longer the jigsaw stats board. It is now journally ticks. So what is journal Q? Oh, I see. Dashboard. What is it? Yeah. Oh, I guess on the 9th I was down a little bit. Well, it was a profitable week though. The first day of the week was the oh yeah, the 5th, yes. So I had a winner on the 7th, loser on Tuesday, Wednesday, yesterday winner. Okay, so it was only 2 days in a row. Okay. Yeah, good deal. I think that this ADX is really helping. So yeah. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, for the bulls to push all the way back to 9100 would be like almost impossible, I think. So just still bullish and think you can be disappointed, dude. On Bitcoin. Oh. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, well, I think that's going to be it. I didn't see any questions. Thanks for watching. We did get one trade. We got out of it. It didn't hit our target. And then this down move started. We didn't take any of the down move. I'm okay with that because it was a Friday and it was super slow and thick and I didn't understand what was going on. So given all that, I have to say I'm really, really happy with my performance today. Oh, we need to post the Bitcoin stats. So I'll be doing that right now. All right, I'll catch you guys later.